Hey, what would change if you condemned it or didn't?
Let's speak to our editor-at-large, Ahmet Alioğlu. So, first of all, Ahmet, I mean, how can the Saudis criticise Turkey's operation when they themselves have been intervening in Yemen?
Well, surely it's absolutely bizarre that the Saudi regime is criticizing Turkey for the operation that is going on at this moment, at the time that the Saudis wreaked havoc in Yemen, destroyed the infrastructure, killed more than 20,000 Yemeni, according to Human Rights Report, and violated all kinds of human rights there. And at the same time, they're trying now to pick up a fight with Turkey and destroy any kind of relationship with such a Sunni country if they're really interested in the sectarian kind of a standoff between Saudi Arabia and Iran. The first thing they should be doing is to appease Turkey, to try to strengthen the relation after the deterioration of the bilateral relations after the killing of Jamal Khashoggi, the Saudi journalist who was killed in the Saudi consulate in Istanbul. But instead of that, they're trying to deteriorate the relations even further by this kind of unjustified criticism. It's not ground, it's not based on any proof, and the problem is Turkey will be more angry, especially with the track record of Saudi Arabia on human rights. The same as with the Egyptian regime that has completely destroyed democracy in Egypt, does not have the right, as President Erdogan said, to preach democracy to a country like Turkey that is mainly interested in securing its security force, its national security, based on international law and other agreement. If the regime is not, if the Syrian regime is not protecting the Turkish security issues, then Turkey is entitled to go on the border and try to secure itself.
So we have the Arab League meeting coming up this weekend. What can we expect from that?
Well, surely, first of all, I believe the Arab League should answer the question if the Russians, the Iranians and the Americans were in Syria visiting a tourist destination in the past 8 or 7 years. Now, when it comes to Turkey's cross-border operation, they're very articulate, they're very outspoken. We've never heard any condemnation coming out from the Arab League against any kind of human rights violations, any kind of massive killing by the involved powers in Syria. But when it comes to Turkey trying to protect its border and create a safe zone to the refugees, to the Syrian refugees, to go back to their own land under the protection of Turkish forces and clearing its border from a group that Amnesty International said in 2 reports that they've committed war crimes, crimes that amount to war crimes, but they're not being reporting about. Now, this is a very hypocritical stance from the Arab League. By the way, surely Ahmed Abulghait, who is the president of the Arab League, shook hands with Walid al-Muallim, who is the Syrian foreign minister, on the sideline of the UN meeting last week. This Walid al-Muallim is not allowed to go to the Arab League and sit on the chair of Syria for 8 years now. But Ahmed Abulghait, the president of the Arab League, told him on camera that he's very happy. He's always happy when he sees him, when he meets him. That's the hypocrisy of the Arab League that is now just the peace mouth of the Sisi regime in Egypt, and the regime of Saudi Arabia does not comply with the aspirations, or does not meet the aspirations of the Arab nations, actually.